Okay. Special board meeting. Call to order. Citizens may comment on items appearing on the agenda when invited to participate during that agenda item by the board chair. Citizens may comment on items related to school district business not appearing on this agenda during the public comment portion of the meeting. Citizens, after identifying themselves, will proceed to make comments as briefly as the subject permits. Basic rules of decorum are in effect at all times. The chairperson may interrupt or terminate an individual statement when appropriate, including when statements are out of order, too lengthy, breach personal privacy rights, are abusive, obscene, irrelevant, or otherwise improper. The public should realize that this is a trustee business meeting conducted in a public forum. Okay, let's stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. There's one action item. Consideration of accepting the resignation of Tina.
There's have to make a motion.
We just have to make a motion. There could be, can be no discussion. If we have discussion, it will be an executive session. So it has to be a motion.
Is there any public comment? Yeah, I'd like to comment on it. I'm Michael Walk, the student's father. And the entire handling through this process have kind of been lackluster for us as far as the lack of communication. We had to find out about this meeting on our own. And it's kind of left a sour taste in our mouth. And so we're trying to advocate for our child and also for other students that might be ultimately impacted by a staff member's lack of restraint when they're dealing with the population that they're supposed to be professional with. And that's my biggest complaint on this, is that to me it seems like we've been somewhat left in the dark, and the student body themselves know more than we do, because we've heard through the rumor mill trickling down to our son what's going on, what's transpiring, and it just kind of, it's been frustrating for us to say the least. And I mean, ultimately, I think however it needs to be handled is for the students, the student body, you know, with their best interest in mind for their safety. Because as parents, we send our children here to the school to be educated in a safe environment and not assaulted by a grown man because he lost his temper. So, I mean, I don't know what the dialogue looks like back and forth on that, but it's been pretty frustrating on our end.
I would also like to make a statement. I'm Shannon Walk. I'm Mason's mother. I imagine how difficult it was when Miss Blair had to make the phone call to me that this incident occurred. I know for myself, I was trying to make logical sense of everything that transpired, as I'm sure she was as well. I'm sure it was a very uncomfortable situation as the administrator involved in this. As more details emerged, this teacher, this doesn't sound like an isolated incident. He was already throwing pens at the students because he was upset. He made the statement that the next thing he threw was going to hurt. He then followed through with that action and then confirmed to our child that he said that he was going to do that, and that's what he gets. When I asked if my child was being disruptive in any way, the answer was no. He didn't deserve this. He would have never deserved it. He could have been standing on the table acting like a clown, and nothing would have justified this. My hope is that not only do you accept the resignation, but that you consider termination and disciplinary action to follow him as well. He should not be in an environment that is educating and should be advocating and protecting our youth. And it's ridiculous that it's taken 2 weeks for us to be at this point when all of us in this room are mandated reporters. And this needed to go through that proper protocol as it would for anybody else. And I'm a little bit frustrated that we are left here having to do that without what feels like the support of the school's administration.
So with the action taken by the board this afternoon, I will be able to call you tomorrow and answer some of your questions. Up until now, because we have been investigating this and the holiday kind of messed things up. There have been limitations on what I am able or have been able to communicate. But with tonight's meeting taken care of, I can give you a call tomorrow.
I think mostly I worry about the repercussions for a child. He has been threatened, he's been intimidated, he's been harassed, he's been physically assaulted by other students because of this, and he's being blamed for the teacher's action. And I understand that Ms. Blair and Ms. Thurman have on Monday set the narrative and the precedence with the student body, but allowed these things to continue in the meantime, that we're having to suffer the consequences and the repercussions with our child. And I don't know when that's going to end. And I don't know what that looks like for the relationships that Mason's trying to build in this school. And I don't want this to be what defines his 7th grade and his experience here at West Valley.
I'll go ahead and say something. I know as board members, we are bound to what we can and can't say, but I do want to tell you that I hear you and I appreciate you guys' frustrations, and I'm sure that's a very difficult place to be in. Like I said, we're kind of bound and we're individuals on a board and we can't do anything without each other in the same room. So, but I do appreciate what you're saying. I hear you.
And yeah, I guess for me, also as a board, like, honestly, I'm kind of in the dark of what you guys are talking about, because I don't have a kid in that age, so I don't know all those, pieces, I guess. So also as a board, I think you have interactions with the administrators, but not necessarily us. So we're also in the dark until, you come and speak up here. So thanks for coming.
Are you aware of the incident then?
No.
Yeah.
I think
I
we
don't
need
know
to
anything
go
about it.
into executive
If the board would like further information, that can be discussed in a closed session, but we can't discuss it openly and recorded.
And that's, that's part of the frustration is we weren't even told about this meeting today, which is open to the public to come and discuss concerns. I feel like in this setting, like we should have been at least advised that, hey, we're gonna have a school board meeting. You guys should come and speak your piece. My wife had to look it up on her own and do some hunting, and I found out that the meeting was being held today. And that's just, it kind of adds fuel with fire, like what's going on. We're trying to figure this out, and guide our son, because he's dealing with these issues with other students. And through that, he, like in the back of his mind, like all he wants to do is play basketball. If he has any other like physical interaction, he's scared that he's going to get kicked off the team, so he can't defend himself or do anything like that. He's trying to be a model citizen or whatever kind of terminology you guys use in the school, so that he can continue to do what he loves to do. So just that lack of communication, going forward, I would just say, like, keep the parents in the loop and let them, if something like this happens, let them inform them that the meeting's taking place, so that, we feel included in the trajectory where our, child's future is going.
I think there's a lot of talk about confidentiality, and it only seems to apply to the teacher. It doesn't get to apply to our son. And so everybody is aware of that this happened to Mason. Nobody is protecting him from that except for us. And that's really frustrating, because it's like, well, we're bound by these things. And I understand that to a certain extent. And at the same time, he's left to fend for himself, is what that feels like.
And we can address that as well tomorrow.
Well, I will make a motion to accept his resignation.
Is there any actually, because it's recorded and we cannot really discuss it among ourselves.
No, but you can vote to
It's a
pass the
it's a
motion
yay or
now.
nay.
We can have
Yay or
a
nay.
discussion about the vote, but not
That's
about other things.
Okay, so we're just going to take, okay, it has been moved and seconded that we accept the resignation. Okay, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Mr. Roush has been, his resignation has been accepted.
So we will move into closed session. Who should I call tomorrow? Would you both like to be contacted? Is there one of you who's more accessible than the other? How do you want that communication?
Yeah, I'll be available tomorrow.
Okay. This is where you can-
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. Have a good evening. Appreciate it.
Motion to go into adjourn the session and go into closed session. That was my motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we'll go into closed session.